Algebra 1, Unit 5 Study Guide. Number 1. What is the y-intercept of the equation 3x minus plus 2y equals 12? In order to find the y-intercept, you're going to need to plug in 0 for x. So you're going to have 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 12, which leaves you with 2y equals 12, and then divide by 2, so y equals 6. So the y-intercept is 0, 6. Number 2. What must be the value of b in the equation bx plus 2y equals 18 if the x-intercept is 2, 0? So what I did is I identified that x is 2 and y is 0, and I substituted that into the equation. So you can see b times 2 plus 2 times 0 equals 18. 2 times b equals 18. If I divide both sides by 2, then b equals 9. Number 3. Identify the x and y intercepts from the graph. Remember, the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. So you can see there's a red dot at negative 4, 0. And the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So we have 0, negative 2. On the next one, you can see that the x-axis crosses, or the graph crosses the x-axis at negative 5, 0. And the graph crosses the y-axis at 0, 3. Number 4, find the x and y intercepts of the equation 4x plus 6y equals 12. Write your answers as ordered pairs and show your work. The x-intercept, I need to plug 0 in for y. So I have 4x plus 6 times 0 equals 12. 4x equals 12. Divide both sides by 4 and x equals 3. So my x-intercept is 3, 0. My y-intercept, I'm letting x equal 0. So I plug 0 in, 4 times 0 plus 6y equals 12. Then that gives me 6y equals 12, divide by 6, and y equals 2. So my y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 2. Sketch a linear function with a y-intercept at 0, 5 and no x-intercept. So if we think about the x-intercept having nothing, that's hoy. So we know that we're going to go up 0, 5, and then it must be a horizontal line so that it has no x-intercept. Draw a line with an x-intercept of negative 6 and a y-intercept of 0, negative 5. So from the origin, I went left 6, plotted a point. From the origin, I went down 5 and plotted a point, and then I connected those 2 points to get the graph that you see on number 6. Number 7. You are buying bags of balloons and party hats for a birthday party. The equation 2x plus 4y equals 16 models the total cost that you will pay when bags of balloons cost $2 and bags of party hats cost $4. Find the x-intercept as an ordered pair. So again, we need to let y equal 0. So I'm going to have 2x plus 4 times 0 equals 16. 2x equals 16. Divide by 2, so x equals 8. So our x-intercept is 8, 0. So what does that intercept mean? Well, if we look back, we know that the 2 is talking about the cost of bags of balloons. So that means that we can purchase 8 bags of balloons for $16. What's the y-intercept for the ordered pair, as an ordered pair? We're going to plug 0 in for x. So 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 16. Or 4y equals 16, and when we divide by 4, y equals 4. So I have the ordered pair 0, 4. So what does the y-intercept mean? Again, if I look back into my information in the question, it tells me that we're purchasing party hats for $4. And so that means that I can purchase 0 balloons, but 4 bags of party hats for $16. Number 8. If the points of a line are represented in the following table, what's the rate of change for the table? So you have to remember to use our y2 minus y1. So pick 2 ordered pairs. I picked 2, negative 10 and 8, negative 6. I identified them as x1, y1, x2, y2, and then I plugged them in. So I have negative 6 minus negative 10 divided by 8 minus 2. That gave me 4 over 6, and I was able to simplify that to 2/3. So my rate of change is 2/3. Number 9, what is the slope of the line of an equation 3x minus 4y equals 24? I need to rewrite my equation into slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b. I'm going to do that by subtracting 3x to both sides. So I have negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 24. And then I need to divide each term by negative 4. That's going to simplify y equals 3/4 x minus 6, which gives me the slope of 3/4. Number 10, what's the slope of a line that passes through the points 2, 5, and negative 3, 8? Again, you're using your slope formula, so make sure you identify x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug those in. 8 minus 5 divided by negative 3 minus 2. That's going to simplify to 3 over negative 5, and so my slope is negative 3/5. Find the slope and the y-intercept of each graph. The slope on this one, I'm looking for a point where there's a whole number, so I can notice that I have to go down 3 and right 1, so that gives me a slope of negative 3. And I notice that the graph crosses the y-axis at 5, so my y-intercept is 0, 5. On the next graph, I notice that my slope is up 2, right 1. So my slope's 2 over 1. I also notice that my y-intercept is at negative 3. Okay, make sure you understand that you see the 0 above you, so you're going down 3. So that's a y-intercept of negative 3, so my y-intercept is 0, negative 3. Number 13, rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. So I had to subtract 3x from both sides. That gives me negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 48. So I'm going to divide each side by negative 4. That's going to give me the equation y equals 3/4 x minus 12, which identifies my slope as 3/4 and my y-intercept as 0, negative 12. My next equation, 1x minus 2y equals 8. I'm going to need to subtract 1x from both sides. That gives me negative 2y equals negative 1x plus 8. When I divide everything by negative 2, I get a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of 0, negative 4. Question 17, we have C of x equals 25x plus 60, and that shows the total cost. You will pay an electrician for the service call. The x represents the number of hours the electrician spends at your house. What does the slope of the equation represent? Well, the slope in this problem is 25, and that's going to be the cost per hour you're going to pay the electrician to come. What does the y-intercept represent? 60, or the y-intercept, that represents the cost for the service call. So just to have the electrician come out is $60. Once he's there, you have to pay him $25 per hour. Number 18, how will the graph of the equation shown to the right, y equals 2x minus 2, change if the y-intercept changes to 3? So changing to 3, it's at negative 2 and it changes to 3. That means it's going to move up 5 spaces on the y-axis. How will the graph of the equation to the right, y equals 2x minus 2, change if the slope changes to 6? The slope is currently 2, so you go up 2, right 1. If the slope changes to 6, you would go up 6, right 1. The graph will become much steeper if you change the slope from 2 to 6. Number 20, if y equals x and the slope gets steeper, less steep, write an equation that could represent the new line. If it gets less steep, it's going to become flatter. So we currently have that the slope is 1. We need our slope to be less than 1. So an example answer could be y equals 1/3 x plus 0. Just so long your slope is less than 1, you would be making your slope flatter or less steep, and that answer would be correct. What if the slope gets steeper and the whole line moves down too? Write an equation that would represent this new line. So again, y equals 1x plus 0. Essentially, we need it to get steeper. So I put a plus. We need our slope to be greater than 1. And if it moves down 2, we would need to subtract 2 from the current y-intercept. So when I write this next equation, an example would be y equals 3x minus 2. Just as long as your slope is greater than 1. Your y-intercept needs to be negative 2. 22. Describe what happens to the graph in the equation y equals 1/3 x when it changes to y equals x plus 4. So it's currently y equals 1/3 x plus 0, and it changes to y equals 1x plus 4. So you can see that the slope has increased from 1/3 to 1, so that's going to make the line get steeper. And it went from plus 0 to plus 4. So because it increased by 4, the line moved up 4 on the y-axis. How do you change the steepness of a line? You're going to have to change the slope. And how do you move the graph up and down on the y-axis? You change the y-intercept. Please use this study guide to study and help prepare you for your unit test.